Hello guys, here again a new painting about fur. No, it's just a joke. We have done all the fur. This is the moment to paint the non-metallics. I know you love this kind of material. The non-metallics is fancy. So I decided to represent something different about the non-metallics with this project. Because as you know, this is my best project of every year. If it's not my best for you, at least to me, it's the project where I want to represent the best ideas or try to improve my skills. So for the non-metallic, won't be different. So I decided to search a lot of information about this material, and I decided to create something like VII. You have to create this non-metallic in the regular way, so you will see here, but then at the end I'm going to create something different. You can see the pictures at the end on social media to see something more about what I'm seeing. So for that, remember that you have to understand the non-metallic between light and shadows together, but you have to represent big areas to work then. Because if you paint thin lanes, then could look as scratches and not as a volume. So maybe in some moments you will see that I remove some areas with new light because I need to represent the highest contrast here. Maybe at the beginning I thought something different, but at the end I changed something. So this is a sketch. Don't be scared to repaint, to change something, to create different information. So don't worry about nothing, just paint. And for that, with this kind of philosophy, I decided to paint and create these lanes on the bottom and this kind of volumes on the top. Then maybe I'm going to change something, but this is the first steps and I have to show you. What happened about the non-metallics? First, the most important thing will be paint the light lanings and dark lanings. And in that case, the light lanings, I think, are the most important. Because you have to paint the bottom, the down part, with similar contrast as the top. So you have to paint a lot of light on the bottom. Because if you don't paint with a lot of light, then won't works as non-metallic. Will look something different, like, I don't know, cloth or skin, leather, maybe like that. So the idea to create a lot of contrast will be on the light lanings too. For that, at the beginning, remember that I always say that you have to represent everything with easy forms, simple forms, like cylinders. In that case, at the beginning, I decided to create this form. It's like a lane, a square, to represent like a cylinder, the volume. But the truth for that, I want to create something different, thinking about the iridescent light or the brightest on the light over a non-metallic. So I have to represent the brights on all this material. It's not a regular non-metallic. You'll see that it's different. And for that, I create at the beginning some areas like squares to paint inside. And then I create something like circles to create tiny circles inside to create this feeling strange. It's to create something like that to represent that the paint it's gradient. Remember, create a gradient between the dark area and light area. I don't like to represent the highest light close to the highest shadow, because the result will be like you can watch now on the video, the dark lining with the midtones or light lining. It's like a scar or a cat. So I don't like it. I prefer represent a gradient between colors. Another tip for this metallic, I started to draw thin lanes to create tiny or super tiny thin lanes between light and shadows to create this feeling. The light is weird, it's different, it's not just a brush stroke to cover as a copy base. For sure the dilution is the same, or more or less the same. Don't feel that you have to represent this with glazes, because the process will be super long. And the idea, as you see now, it's create a big area with light and then tiny with shadow. But if you feel it's something similar, everything is like light and then shadow, light and then shadow, the trick will be break the rule in some part. And for example, create double size for light and remove one to shadow. The idea is break the rules all the time. Light laning, remember? The first part. Maybe we'll need to paint again the light laning, but for sure if you have painted that part, then will be easy represent the midtones, scratches, all the information that you want to represent. You don't have to feel this as a metallic. You can think that this is stone, for example, or leather, or wood, everything that the material you can imagine. Okay, with the next layer, it's the same. First, light laning. And create the volumes where you think could be interesting. Remember, tiny lines to create this feeling. Maybe you have to draw a lot of times the light laning, but I think it's the best way to decide if you need more light or less. Because if you go directly to the highest light, maybe at the end is not correct information and you don't have possibilities to repaint. So for that, you'll watch that I've painted a lot of times the same. But don't worry if you use copy bases, because nothing happened. Now on your screen, you'll see that I create some dots. It's to break the edge, okay? I want to create a different edge. I want to create a dot, a ball in the edge to represent a bright, like a natural light on the metal, on live. You will see when you watch metal under a sunny sun, you will discover that the metal is half bright outside of the metal. So you have something physical to represent that. So for that, we'll use the dark lanings and the midtones to represent this fake edge. These kind of touches, remember that I explained you that if you add more water to a dilution, it's an interesting way to represent a gradient, super easy, with without need to use glazes. Okay, it's not a capibase, but if you feel that you need something inside or between layers, it's a super fast gradient. Just if you need, okay? I felt that in some moments I need to see better the result because this is a sketch, a super hard sketch, and in some moments I decide to see something better, the result, to understand if I like it or not. Because it's my first time maybe going in this way to represent the non-metallic. It's maybe similar as the night I painted on Patreon with the non-metallics, but with differences. I was looking for here more the light than like a real light with the brights than the non-metallic. So the idea for that is not to represent the metallic reference, the stuff, but something between. I continue working on that way to represent more stuff like that. I like it and I've enjoyed a lot painting on that way. It's creating a lot of information. So I love it. If you remember at the beginning, I painted there with a mid-tone or light to me, because now I decide that I need to create more and more light because I want to focus the attention there. So easy, new capibase, remove everything or remove 90%. This is depend of how much area to work you have. And the bottom parts, don't forget them. Maybe the trick is there. If you paint just the light with a lot of reflections and then the bottom, you can paint nothing like that. Will be maybe different materials on the same stuff. Okay, something like gum, maybe, and the other as metallic. It's like a metallic flap. Maybe it's interesting to represent on another model. I think after have watched the first video tutorials about non-metallics, this one will be easier to you. After everything of this, you can paint a lot of stuff with really good results. Remember, create a high contrast but with a lot of mid-tones. The trick will be in the mid-tones. If you go directly black to the white, then will be boring and you don't have nothing about mid-tones to work then to blend with airbrush or to move the temperature, add tones, different colors. So please think about mid-tones and then create the highest contrast here. If you see, I kept a lot of attention on the light lanings because it's the truth, it's the most important. So I think that everything is done for this video tutorial. This is the first part about these non-metallics, and I hope you can learn a lot from that and enjoy painting. Remember, this is my philosophy. You have to enjoy painting miniatures. So thank you very much to be there watching me, watching this video tutorial, watching all the streamings, and I hope after this you can show on your social media a lot of awesome models with a lot of incredible non-metallics. So thank you very much and see you in the next video tutorial, streaming or event. Bye bye!